Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a horror action from 2016 titled Cell. The movie begins with a bustling scene at Boston International Airport, where travelers are hurrying to catch their flights amidst the chaos. Among the crowd is Clay Riddell, a talented graphic artist who abandoned his wife Sharon and son Johnny a year ago to pursue his dream. He is now returning to Manchester to reunite with his family. Clay manages to connect with his wife Sharon on his cell phone, but their conversation is abruptly cut short when his phone battery dies. Frantically, Clay searches for an empty charging port, but to no avail. Feeling helpless, he is disappointed and resorts to using a payphone to call his wife once more, determined to make amends with his family. However, Sharon's response is not what he had hoped for. She reminds him that he has been absent for a year, and things are no longer as simple as they used to be. Despite this setback, Clay remains determined to set things right with his family. Suddenly, he notices people acting weird as a foreboding electronic pulse is transmitted through mobile networks worldwide, turning cell phone users into savage murderers. Amidst the terror, Clay frantically runs through the terminal, desperately trying to escape. He stumbles upon a group of survivors seeking refuge in a subway car, huddling together in fear and disbelief. Tom McCourt, the train conductor, proposes a daring plan to abandon the subway train and journey through the dark damp tunnels. With power outages affecting the subway and the tunnel pumps on the verge of failure, the group must take their chances if they hope to escape alive. A third man joins Clay and Tom, and together they embark on a perilous journey to flee the airport and the horrors that await them. As they approach the end of the tunnel, their companion is suddenly attacked and killed by a crazed infected man. Fearing for their own safety, the two remaining survivors quickly climb up a ladder and emerge onto the street through a manhole. They hastily close the lid and make their way to Clay's apartment. That night, they are joined by Alice Maxwell, a teenage neighbor who killed her mother in self-defense. Clay's main concern is to reunite with his family during this difficult time. He plans to set out on foot to find his wife Sharon and their son Johnny. Alice and Tom decide to join him on his journey. As they cautiously peer outside, they see infected people moving in groups. Armed with only a crowbar, a metal baseball bat, and a wheel wrench, the trio cautiously step outside to begin their journey. Suddenly, two people on a bike foolishly ride towards the infected group and are immediately attacked and killed. Seeing an opportunity to escape, the trio quickly flee the area. As they continue their journey, they come across a house with a sign indicating that weapons may be inside. Upon entering, they find that the residents have already been infected and killed, but the trio manages to retrieve the guns that the infected had been holding. Feeling more confident with their new weapons in hand, the trio ventures out of the house, only to come across a teenage boy sitting on a swing. Thinking that he may not be infected, they call out to him, but he quickly reveals himself to be a threat and attacks them. The trio manages to kill him with their newly acquired guns. Unfortunately, the sound of the gunshot draws more infected people from the nearby forest, who dash towards them. After running for what seems like an eternity, they are out of breath and in a panic. They frantically shoot at the oncoming horde of infected people, but there are too many of them to fend off. With no other choice, they are forced to flee yet again. Finally, they reach the edge of a dense forest, and upon seeing a river, they feel a glimmer of hope. They quickly hide themselves, trying to catch their breath and regain their strength. Outside, the infected group stands still, their mouths open as if emitting some sort of mysterious signal. The trio watches in fascination as the group suddenly turns and walks away as one. They emerge from their hiding place as the group disappears from sight. They continue their journey, now moving at a slower pace but with greater determination. They walk cautiously, keeping a watchful eye out for any more infected people lurking in the shadows. As the sun sets in the distance, the trio finally finds refuge in a private school. There, they meet two survivors, Headmaster Charles Ardai and a student named Jordan. Charles shares his theory that the phoners have developed a hive mind and are now telepathic. He takes them to the athletic field, where they witness thousands of phoners lying inert, their bodies piled up on top of each other. Charles suggests destroying the phoners by using the stadium's gas pumps and a sprayer truck to douse the bodies with gasoline and set them ablaze. The others agree to help, and Clay and Tom drive over the phoners, spraying them with gasoline as they go. Charles sets the gasoline alight, causing a massive fire that spreads throughout the field. As the flames consume the phoners, some of them suddenly begin to stir, frantically trying to escape the inferno. The trio jumps into action, wielding their weapons and attacking the escaping phoners. However, amidst the chaos, the fire reaches the truck carrying the gasoline, causing it to explode with a deafening blast. The explosion throws Alice and Charles. Although Alice survives the blast, Charles is killed instantly. Jordan is devastated by Charles's death. Clay offers him comfort with a reassuring embrace, and they both stand amidst the still burning wreckage, feeling overwhelmed by the sense of despair and uncertainty that surrounds them. As they move away from the burning phoners, they suddenly hear anguished cries emanating from the flames. A feeling of unease washes over them, and they sense that something is amiss. Despite their apprehension, they exchange worried looks and decide to push forward, resolute in their determination to continue their journey and confront whatever obstacles may arise. After Jordan joins the group, they continue their journey northward and find temporary shelter at an abandoned drive-in theater where they spend the night. In his dream, Clay encounters a ragged-looking man in a red hoodie, a character from Clay's graphic novel. He wakes up suddenly, telling everyone about his dream only to realize that everyone is seeing the same character engaging in different activities. It makes them feel uneasy and prompts them to leave. As they continue on, they come across a roadside bar that has a sign reading, "Kashwak no FO, which they assume means, no phone zone. They knock and are welcomed by a group of middle-aged survivors. They spend the night playing music and dancing, enjoying a brief moment of peace. However, their peace is disrupted when one of the survivors, Sally, is awoken and infected by a group outside. Sally can now transmit the pulse through her mouth, and she attacks the group, causing Jordan to freeze in fear. Tom and Jordan are attacked, but Alice manages to come to their rescue. Unfortunately, Sally bludgeons Alice in the head, and Tom is forced to shoot Sally to save Alice. The group takes Alice outside, where she eventually succumbs to her head wound and dies. Grief-stricken and exhausted, the remaining group is once again reminded of the harsh reality of their situation. They know they must continue their journey to Kashwak, but the loss of Alice weighs heavily on them. They take a moment to mourn their fallen friend before setting out once again, determined to find a way to survive in this new world of terror and chaos. Their journey continues, and they meet Ray Huizinga and Denise, who tell them to remain awake to stay safe. Ray has been staying awake for several nights to avoid being caught off guard by the phoners. The duo warns them about Kashwak, which they believe is a trap set by the Raggedy Man. Denise reveals her brother, who is infected but kept alive as he serves as an indicator of nearby infected individuals. However, things take a spooky turn when he starts speaking in the voice of Clay's son Johnny, sending shivers down everyone's spine. Clay takes charge and shoots him to put an end to the unnerving situation. The group is left shaken by the eerie encounter and continues on their journey in the duo's ice cream truck, wary of what lies ahead. Ray is distressed as he sits in the truck without speaking. Suddenly, he stops the van and walks into the forest, gesturing for Clay to follow him. Once they are a safe distance from the vehicle, Ray confesses to Clay that the Raggedy Man is invading his mind and planting thoughts that aren't his own. Clay tries to convince him that it's just a hallucination, but he notices something around Ray's neck. Before he can ask, Ray gives him his cell phone and tells him to call a number when they reach the end of the road. As Clay tries to make sense of the situation, Ray gestures for him to back away, triggering a bomb around his neck that kills him instantly. Clay stumbles back from the explosion and slowly makes his way back to the truck. As they continue their journey in Ray's truck, Tom makes a startling discovery, a cache of C4 explosives hidden inside. Despite the danger, they push forward until they reach Sharon's house. Clay steps out of the van alone, and the silence inside the house makes him uneasy. As he explores the empty rooms, he comes across a board with a message from Johnny. The note reveals that Johnny has left for Kashwak, as Sharon has already turned into a phoner. Clay is not able to control emotion for his son. He cautiously moves forward and makes his way up, only to be attacked by an infected person in a red hoodie. The two engage in a brutal struggle, with Clay fighting for his life. Just when it seems like he is about to be overwhelmed, Tom arrives and manages to save him. Clay stands up and shoots the phoner multiple times. As they catch their breath, Clay takes a closer look at the now dead infected person and is shocked to discover that it was Sharon all along. The realization hits him hard, as he grapples with the loss of yet another loved one in this seemingly endless nightmare. Determined to find Johnny, Clay hands over the keys of Sharon's wagon to Tom and sets off alone towards Cashwack, while the rest of the group continue north, leaving markings as a trail for him to follow. The journey ahead is uncertain and treacherous, but Clay remains focused on his mission to reunite with his son. As Clay reaches Cashwack, he witnesses an eerie sight: thousands of phoners walking around a communication tower in a gigantic circle. He spots the Raggedy Man in the middle and runs over him with his vehicle, followed by multiple gunshots. An infected Johnny appears before him, emitting a signal from his mouth, and the Raggedy Man returns to life. Clay hugs his son as he calls the number on Ray's phone, detonating the explosives in the truck, destroying the tower and the phoners. Clay and his son find the marks and follow the trail toward Clay's friends. However, the explosion is revealed to be an illusion. Clay has been infected and is now walking in the circle around the tower. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.